England that Napoleon won. The Red Shield bankers in London pretended that England was doomed and started selling their English stocks. The English went into a selling frenzy to get rid of worthless English money.
But the English won, right?
Of course they won. But it was a trick by Red Shield. They waited until the stocks plummeted to pennies and then bought England back for nearly nothing.
What? Did that? How?
When the English leaders found out, they had no choice but to give themselves over to the Red Shield. Their money was gone, and they were slaves to the Red Shield war debt. Since that time, the English have been paying their national taxes directly to the Red Shield private bankers, so people have no idea. But the bankers bragged about what they did to us, laughing at us all the way to the bank.
Why, it's the best business I've ever done. If I can control a nation's wealth, I cannot make it loss.
Oh, is this what Jefferson wanted to show me?
No. Look.
They're in America, too?
The Red Shield banks are here, Pop. Seeking a way to conquer our American dream. The dream you had, Pop. The dream of free men. They tried to take over our country many times and failed because Jefferson and the Patriots vowed to stop the evil tyrants at all costs. By authority of eternal God, he would not let the bankers win here.
To preserve our independence, we must not let our rulers load us with perpetual debt. We must make our choice between economy and liberty or profusion and servitude.
Wow.
I place economy among the first and most important of Republican virtues, and public debt is the greatest of the dangers to be feared. It is incumbent on every generation to pay its own debts as it goes.
We must have a central bank to secure this country's finances.
If the American people ever allow private banks to control the issue of their money, first by inflation and then by deflation, the banks and corporations that will grow up around them will deprive the people of their property until their children will wake up homeless on the very continent their fathers conquered.
Jefferson, you're mad. This country will have a central bank.
Who's that? America's first Secretary of Treasury.
Alexander Hamilton?
Not for long. Aaron Burr, Thomas Jefferson's vice president. They didn't take too kindly to our first state treasury. Sweet shot, Burr. The first attempt at a central bank only lasted 20 years, but we shut it down. But the bankers tried again against old Hickory and Andrew Jackson.
You are a den of vipers and thieves. I intend to rout you out. By the eternal God, I will rout you out.
After surviving an assassination attempt, Jackson finally defeated the bank in 1836. When asked what was the greatest accomplishment in his life, old Hickory replied,
I killed the bank.
And those were his last words. I killed the bank. And with real money backed with real gold, our country experienced the greatest boom in any nation's history. Oh, it was beautiful. But the bankers, greedy for more power and wealth, were concocting their most ambitious plan yet to once and for all take control of the finances of the United States. In 1910, a secret meeting was held at the J.P. Morgan estate on Jekyll Island off the coast of Georgia. This meeting was so secretive, so concealed from government and public knowledge that the 10 attendees used code names.
I am clearly the richest man, so I should be the one to run the super-secret central bank. I own all the oil in America. I'm clearly richer than you will ever be, hula girl. I should run the super-secret central bank. You're nothing compared to me, Luke Job. I shall run the secret bank. Supreme Master Leader, I didn't know you were going to be here.
I'm not. Neither are you, dumbass.
Oh, yeah, right. He's so smart.
None of you shall run the bank. We have been to the past because of openness. This time, the key to success is secrecy. The people must believe that they run the bank.
Yes, brilliant. A sneak attack. What's the plan?
We first create panic, then we show them the solution. With our man central bank, and so the people think it is theirs. We shall christen it Federal. The Federal Reserve.
It struck on December 23rd, 1913. When most of our Congress were at home eating fruitcake, these bastards, I mean bankers, presented their treasonous act to their newly elected accomplice, Woodrow Wilson, who had fortuitously already agreed to sign it before he was even elected. Wait, the IRS? I thought we always had the IRS. No, pal. They did this to us, too. The Fed now have the exclusive power to print America's money. They loan this money to our banks and our government at interest, putting immediate debt on our own money, printing more and more, so each dollar they print becomes worth less than the one before. Merry Christmas. What in the hell is that? That is how our government now must pay back these debts to the Fed. Your taxes do not go to your government. They don't? It's the greatest theft in human history. But, okay, I mean, I sort of get what you're saying, but it's also confusing and really, Hartman, I don't see how it affects me at all. If I had more money, none of this would have happened. Hartman? 1955? Wow, what are we doing here? Oh, a little bit of shopping. Here, hold this. Gallon of gas, 1 or 3 cents. Postage stamp, 3 cents. Ounce of gold, $35. Hot baby, prices. Best be getting back. Hey, Hartman, I need my car. Oh, was that Michael J? Yeah, he'll be fine. Now, pal, would you agree that you have the same exact things you had in 1955? Yeah, 1 stamp, 1 gallon of gas, 1 ounce of gold, and 1 home. Wow, we just made a lot of money. Hey! Gotta pay your taxes. Bet it's nice to have made all that money. Wait, that isn't fair. Now I actually have less money. I can't even go buy the things I just sold. The IRS and the Fed's inflation work together, pal. They aren't just taxing gain, they are taxing their inflation. You are no richer than you were in 1955. Does that sound fair or American to you? Yeah, but I mean, who doesn't hate taxes? I hate the IRS anyway. Kyle, the higher they make the inflation, the more your money they take. It's thievery. You're not paying taxes on any more. You are paying taxes on the same, and now you have less. They take our property away right in front of our eyes, just like Thomas Jefferson said they would. What? They found us. Quick, a sword! What sword? We don't need your banking machine. I'll condemn you to die, damn it. Die! Pile! Don't I keep bogey on my line. Take him at his knees.
But we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means for expanding its sphere of influence.
What's happening? Where am I? I believe perhaps you understand now, pal, but you are afraid. JFK. Hartman, what does this have to do with my house and my dog? Oh, okay, that's enough. I want to go home now. This is the last president to stand up to the Fed. You must see. On June 4, 1963, President Kennedy signed Executive Order 11110. This executive order empowered the U.S. Treasury to issue real money without the Fed. It would have worked. Kennedy's plan to dismantle the Federal Reserve machine had begun. 6 months later, John F. Kennedy went to Dallas and never returned. No way. No way they could do that. The new president, Lyndon Johnson, threw out Kennedy's order. Since JFK, no president has dared confront the secret powers behind the Federal Reserve. They consolidate bigger and bigger banks, print more and more money, accountable to no one, decimating our nation's wealth for the benefit of a few. Why? Why do this? If they hurt us, it hurts the global bankers too. No, while they are protected, they are too big to fail. But I'm not. Those sons of bitches! Sons of bitches all.
It's chugging along just fine, but then there's a major catalyst. In 1906, there was an earthquake that devastated San Francisco. And the problem is that a lot of San Francisco, the people that insured them, they were in New York. So suddenly they get this rush of insurance claims. And all this money is going out in New York. And people are starting to get worried, like, hey, am I going to be able to keep my money in the bank? Like, where, you know? So this is kind of the catalyst that ended up creating the Federal Reserve.
That is exactly right. So, 1906, you have this horrible earthquake, but even worse than the earthquake was the fire that started afterwards. Now, I don't know, who collects these statistics, and I don't know how it's possible to be accurate, but I have read that the fire that followed the San Francisco earthquake in 1906 destroyed something like 2/3 of that city. Well, all those buildings, they had insurance on those. So then that caused, this huge outflow of money from the system, which then triggered another banking panic. J.P. Morgan Chase gets together with, again, James Stillman, who gets together with George Baker, and these guys do their normal thing. They come together, they pool all this money, and they are able to stop the panic this time. But the American people, after, this was now 40 years, okay, where you basically have either a financial... Sorry, what was that?
This is a roller coaster, economically speaking, in the United States.
Yeah, it's a total nightmare, right?
Imagine being on a roller coaster for 40 years with your money, and that's what was happening in the United States.
Yeah. Once every 6 years, a depression or a financial crisis. I mean, what a total nightmare. And it was at that point where the bankers got together and said, and with some senators got together and said, look, we've got to do something about this. And that is really where the origins of the Federal Reserve come from.
In 1932, Washington was under siege. The capital was surrounded by over 10,000 unemployed veterans of World War I from all over the country. Their only assets were the bonus certificates they'd been given after the war, which promised a cash bonus sometime in the future. They needed it now.
At the end of May 1932, nearly 10,000 bonus marchers occupied the nation's capital, and tens of thousands more were on their way.
I was going to get my bonus, and I'm going to wait till I get it. I have to wait till 1945.
What brought you to Washington?
Well, to beat the Undertaker, spend the money before the Undertaker gets it.
I know who's made this country worth living in.
It's just you fellas.
Look, makes me so damn mad a whole lot of people speak of you as tramps. By God, they didn't speak of you as tramps in 1917 and 18. Oh. Take it from me. This is the greatest demonstration of Americanism we've ever had. Pure Americanism.
President Hoover was left to deal with the veterans when the Senate rejected their demands. The marchers had stayed, camped out in central Washington.
On July 16th, the last day Congress was in session, Washington was on edge. Thousands of angry veterans surrounded the Capitol. Near midnight, the 72nd Congress adjourned. Congressmen left through back doors and underground tunnels to avoid confrontations. The situation had come to a head. The President ordered the evacuation of the veterans from downtown Washington.
Now you bring in the troops. When MacArthur moved his troops to the affected area, he knew exactly what he was going to do. And he adorned himself in his dress uniform along with his major aide, Dwight D. Eisenhower.
The force stepped off at 4:30 p.m. more than 200 cavalrymen spread out across Constitution and Pennsylvania avenues. Behind them came 400 infantrymen, followed up by tanks and armored vehicles.
The cavalrymen, one of whom is Major Pat, have got their sabers out.
The soldiers donned gas masks and without warning began hurling gas grenades at the veterans. The troops advanced, some jabbing with bayonets.
It's war, the greatest concentration of fighting troops in Washington since 1865.
I knew something was going to happen, that they might be attacked. And I had a press card, so I passed the police lines, and then I saw the soldiers advancing into the camp. And when confronted with this, the men all stood there and said, "Stand firm as long as you can." And they started throwing tear gas.
Tear gas was just burning my face. I was trailing behind my dad, and he kept hollering, "Come on, boy, come on, boy."
Marchers were choking from the gas, just like the battlefields in France.
And so they're being forced out of their shacks by smoke bombs and tear gas, hurled by the troops who have been called out by the President of the United States.
I'd never seen anything like it. They systematically went down the line, burned up all the tents and all the possessions of the people there. I was thinking of Herbert Hoover when this happened, because his election was in 3 months. I thought this would be the finish of Hoover.
The orders of the President must be obeyed, and the roaring flames sound the death knell to the fantastic bonus army. In the shadow of the beautiful dome of the Capitol of the United States of America.
The veterans did not believe the country for which they had fought would ignore the plight into which the Depression had placed them. Many did not believe that United States troops would take the field against them.
By early evening, most of the marchers had been driven across a drawbridge that led to their main camp.
The president does not want MacArthur to cross the bridge, and MacArthur disregards the order. Eisenhower later says that he saw this happen. MacArthur says, "I cannot bother with pieces of paper during a military operation." And so he crosses the bridge.
All through the camp were scenes of panic.
My dad says, "Let's get the hell out of here. The soldiers are going to kill us."
Then troops began to set fire to their wooden shacks. One reporter wrote, "The blaze was so big it lit the whole sky. A nightmare come to life." The president looked out a window of the White House in the direction of the fire, then retired for the night.
And the roaring flames sound the death knell to the fantastic bonus army that ends so disastrously in the shadow of the Capitol of the United States of America.
The morning after the bonus rout, public sentiment took a dramatic turn against Herbert Hoover. If the expulsion needed a human face, it came in the person of Joe Angelo, whose story was published across the nation.
Joe Angelo gets the Distinguished Service Cross for saving Pat's life on the battlefield. The next morning, Angelo comes to the burned-out field to see Pat. Pat says, "Take this man away. I don't want to see this man." The BEF was broken up. The men returned to some city or other, there to roam the streets, hopelessly seeking work or to shuffle in bread lines. There they remain, crying examples not of the need for the bonus, but of the need for a new American system.
Insurance means just what it says. As part of the Federal Social Security Act, It was backed by all parties in Congress and passed by an overwhelming majority. It was signed by President Roosevelt and became law on August 14, 1935. Throughout the land, industry and labor joined in this new attack on unemployment and insecurity. And to launch this nationwide movement in cooperation with each of the states, the President appointed the Nonpartisan Social Security Board, which now includes Miss Mary Dewson, Chairman Arthur J. Altmeyer, and Mr. George Biggie. The board has started a program of job insurance in cooperation with the states. Today, Louisiana and every other state have unemployment compensation laws. In the capital at Baton Rouge, necessary plans have been made for the payment of job insurance to workers after January 1st, 1938. And here is your governor, Richard W. Lesh, conferring with B.W. Keynes, the state labor commissioner who administers Louisiana's unemployment compensation law. In Louisiana, 214,000 men and women are insured. They are workers in shipyards, lumber mills, oil industry, sugar mills, offices, and stores that contribute to the Unemployment Insurance Trust Fund. Handling the claims of those who become unemployed is a tremendous undertaking, for which the state has set up an extensive and efficient organization.
The government. It loves you and wants to keep you safe and well. It even wants to make paying taxes, fines, and court costs easier for you. How? Well, you'll need to meet your straw man. He was born the same day you were. He looks like you, has the same name, and lives in your house, but you never knew he existed. You will have even paid his parking ticket for taxes. The worst part? He's been dead from day one. From every birth certificate, a legal personality, or legal fiction, is created with the same name to confuse little old you into thinking it's you. So, there's a human you and a paper you, or as it's commonly known, a straw man. So when it seems like government officials, court clerks, or the police are speaking English, they aren't. They're speaking legalese, designed to make you agree to verbal and written contracts without even knowing about it, all starting from Black's Law Dictionary. For example, when the police say, "Do you understand?" you'll say, "Yes." What they'll really say is, "Do you stand under our authority?" Oops to daisies, you just created a verbal contract with them. Oh, you clever government. Did you know that whenever you register something, you are handing over title to the person you register it with? That's right. Whenever you register something with the government, they assume it belongs to them. Register your car? Super. Now you are the registered keeper of your vehicle, and the government can crush it when you don't pay your, straw man's taxes. Expecting a new bundle of joy? Well, then you need to register your little darling with a birth certificate. Then they can start the process all over again and create a new straw man for your little one. Isn't that great? So when Junior grows up, he'll be able to generate revenue just like we have. When you notify on your baby by signing the birth certificate, your child becomes a ward of state. And if the government doesn't like what you're doing, they'll assume it's okay to take the child away or make new rules for things they don't like. Not enough school? Smacking your child? Shouting too loudly? Then it's off to social services for the little one. When you get a bill, it's sent to you but belongs to your straw man, not you. That's why bills, fines, and summons start with Mr., Mrs., or Ms. Sometimes you'll see your surname in capitals, just like on a gravestone. That's because your straw man is dead and just a silly piece of paper, created before you could comprehend or even consent to it. When you go to court, you represent your straw man, so you, the human, take on any costs, fees, taxes, and fines involved for the straw man. The human you doesn't even need to pay them. But you made a contract with the court by appearing on behalf of your legal personality or straw man, just like the government knew you would. Confused? Well, don't worry. The government doesn't want you to know anyway. If you knew, you'd stop paying things like council tax and parking tickets. Because when you go to court, you are representing your straw man. You are you, alive and made of flesh and blood. Your straw man, or legal personality, is a piece of paper created from your birth certificate. And you think it's you. What a silly Billy. Would you like to know more?
Lord Keynes, welcome, sir. It's a pleasure.
Pleasure's all mine.
Your agenda.
That won't be necessary. I am the agenda. Tell them I've arrived. And then tell them I've arrived.
And your name is?
Hayek. S.A. Hayek. Good angel. Hey, listen, party at the Fed. Over 20 minutes. Lobby. John Maynard Keynes. S.A. Hayek. Yeah, we're opposed. We oppose each other philosophically in the same studio. Back and forth for a century. I want the theater market. I want them set free. There's a boom and bust cycle and good reason to fear it. I won't differentiate. It's the animal spirit. John Maynard Keynes wrote the book on modern macros. The man you need when the economy's off track. Depression, recession. Now your question's in session. Have a seat and I'll school you in one simple lesson. 1929, the big crash. We didn't bounce back. Economy's in the trash. Persistent unemployment, the result of sticky wages. Waiting for recovery, that's outrageous. I had a real plan. Any fool can understand. The advice real simple. Who's aggregate demand? C-I-G altogether gets to Y. Keep that total growing. Watch the economy fly. We've been going back and forth for a century. I want the theater market. I want them set free. There's a boom and bust cycle and good reason to fear it. I won't differentiate. It's the animal spirit. You see, it's all about spending. Here's a register cha-ching. Circular flow. The dough is everything. So if the flow is getting low, doesn't matter the reason. We need more government spending. Now it's stimulus season. So forget about saving. Get it straight out of your head. Like I said, in the long run, we're all dead. Savings is destruction. That's the paradox of thrift. Don't keep money in your pocket or that growth will never live. Because business is driven by the animal spirit. The bull and the bear, and there's reasons to fear its effects on capital investment, income, and growth. That's why the state should fill the gap with stimulus, both the monetary and the fiscal. They're equally correct. Public works, digging ditches, war has the same effect. Even a broken window helps a glass man have some help. The multiplier driving higher the economy's health. And it's the central bank's interest rate policy tank, a liquidity trap, new money stuck in the bank. Deficits could be the cure you've been looking for. Let the spending soar. Now that you know the score, my general theory's made quite an impression. Revolution. I transformed the econ profession. You know me, modesty, still I'm taking it back. So say it loud and say it proud, we're all Keynesians now. We've been going back and forth for a century. I want the theater market. I want them set free. There's a boom and bust cycle and good reason to fear it. I made my case ready. Listen up, can you hear it? I'll begin in broad strokes, just like my friend Keynes. His theory conceals the mechanics of change. A simple equation, too much aggregation, ignores human action and motivation. Yet it continues as a justification for bailouts, payoffs, black holes with machinations. Provide them with cover to sell us a free lunch. Then all that we're left with is debt and a punch. If you're living high on that cheap credit hog, don't look for a cure from the hair of the dog. Real savings come first if you want to invest. The market coordinates time with interest. Your focus on spending is pushing on credit. In the long run, my friend, it's your theory that's dead. So sorry there, buddy, if that sounds like invective. Prepare to get schooled in my Austrian perspective. We've been going back and forth for a century. I want the theater market. I want them set free. There's a boom and bust cycle and good reason to fear it. Like all different. It's the animal spirit. The place you should study isn't the bust. It's the boom that should make you feel leery. That's the thrust of my theory. The capital structure is key. Malinvestments wreck the economy. The boom gets started with an expansion of credit. The Fed sets rates low, or you start in the
when they are wrong, are more powerful than is commonly understood. Indeed, the world is ruled by little else. Practical men who believe themselves to be quite exempt from any intellectual influence are usually the slaves of some defunct economist.